What's up, everybody? I'm here in Mexico City yet again, this time on the rooftop overlooking a beautiful mountain range. And I've got some exciting Ultra League battles for you because I've been very curious about a particular Pokemon named Dusknoir, especially after the Astonish buff.
ところで世のあるよ。わしも霊界というところを見てみたいんじゃが。ノワー。おお、わしは今魂になっとるのか?
So, as you take a look here, I have a very nice Ultra League rank 6 Dusknoir with the Senpasuchio crown. So, I mean, really, there's no more fitting Pokemon, maybe outside of like a Dia de Muertos themed Houndour that could actually fit the theme for today. So, this Pokemon costs a lot of Stardust to power up, 436,000 Stardust, almost 500,000 Stardust to push this Pokemon all the way up to level 50. So if you like spending Stardust, leave a like on the video. This Pokemon does have Shadow Punch as well as Shadow Ball, so I'm going to go with a double Ghost approach here, Elite TMing that Dark Pulse away for the Shadow Ball. Jumping right into our game number 1, I cannot wait to use this Pokemon. The full team, however, is going to be pretty interesting. I've got Cobalion and Feraligatr. Feraligatr is in the lead. So we see the Alolan Sandslash in the lead. This doesn't play exactly like it does in Great League, where you can land one single Hydro Cannon and then get pretty close to Shadow Clawing down. As well, this is a non-Shadow Alolan Sandslash, so we'll take quite a bit of punishment. I don't want to switch in my Dusknoir because I'm going to take super effective damage from these Shadow Claws, and also I don't want to switch in the Cobalion because then I risk getting hit with a Drill Run, and you know, I'm sending my hard counter, which is never a good idea. My opponent actually allows the second Hydro Cannon through. I think I can take a Drill Run. Let's see if Feraligatr can hold on. Yes, it does. I Shadow Claw down. In comes the Grass type. Honestly, I could go either way here. It's really about predicting what's in the back. So I send in the Dusknoir because if it is a dark type in the back or a normal type, I'm in real trouble. This Pokemon does need to watch out for things like Mandibuzz or Licky Licky because it is obviously pure ghost. So opponent hits me with a Frenzy Plant. I'm also testing the bulk of this Pokemon and I'm pretty impressed. I mean, Frenzy Plant does take close to 45% or so I cannot eat another one, but I do think that it is withstanding these Vine Whips pretty easily, pretty comfortably, I should say. Gonna use a Protect Shield there on the second Frenzy Plant, build up to a almost the double Shadow Punch here. A lot of the time, because of the Astonish pressure, all you really need is the Shadow Punch, but I'm gonna switch in the Cobalion to absorb a resisted Frenzy Plant on my Steel typing and also save a bit of energy on that Dusknoir. Final Pokemon comes in, it actually is Tapu Fini, so this game is gonna be pretty close. In terms of the Water Guns for Tapu Fini, I actually looked this up on PvPoke, shout out to PvPoke. It's 15 for the Surf and 17 for the Nature's Madness, so it's only 2 extra Water Guns for that harder hitting Nature's Madness, and it's kind of tough to time because you are using a 3-turn fast attack like Double Kick here. I'm gonna bait. This is a very, very important bait. I need this final shield away from the Tapu Fini, and we're able to get it. I combo play into the Dusknoir looking for the Shadow Punch. I might have just thrown this game though, because at this point, if the Tapu Fini hangs on, which it does, it can Water Gun all the way down, or can I get the KO? No, it gets the full Water Gun down, which is super detrimental, and I'm just built up to my my Sacred Sword there. Tapu Fini, Nature's Madness, Cobalion hangs on! My defense drops, but it doesn't really matter because I'm able to fire off this Sacred Sword and KO this Venusaur that's already very low. Oh, what? Wait! The Tapu Fini was still around, and it's able to come in and Water Gun down. So I thought that the Double Kick KO'd the Tapu Fini, but they actually switched and transferred the Double Kick to the Venusaur, which is a high level play by them. Next game, we're going to get the Alolan Muck. This Pokemon is 8 Poison Jabs for the first Dark Pulse, so it can be a little bit tricky. And Hydro Cannon's not going to do too much. I need at least 2 to pick up the KO here, while my Shadow Claws are resisted. So I'm going to shield up this first one here. It is the Dark Pulse. I've shielded so many Acid Sprays in my day, as I'm sure you have as well. I really don't like shielding Acid Spray, so glad we got that call right. Gonna go for the second Hydro Cannon here against the Alolan Muck. Pivot into the Cobalion. I want to soak a resisted Dark Pulse. Even though I gave up a shield and switch advantage, I'm still pretty confident in my lineup. However, Annihilate comes in, and this is really, really bad. It's going to double resist the Sacred Sword, single resist the Stone Edge, and Stone Edge does not even stab on Cobalion. So I am in trouble. Opponent, though, mysteriously shielding that move, and honestly, that might be a mistake that leads to a massive opening for us. Rage Fist does connect. Coming with a Feraligatr, looking for the Hydro Cannon, I am able to get it here. The caveat, though, is that because I've seen a Dark type in the lead, I don't think there's another Dark type in the back or a normal type. So I am actually going to let the Feraligatr go here on the second Rage Fist and then just put it all on my Dusknoir. Coming in with the Sempasuchio Crown Dusknoir, we throw up that first shield on the Rage Fist. I'm hoping that I can get to the second, or excuse me, that I can get to my my Shadow Punch before Annihilate can reach the second Rage Fist in this matchup, because that's absolutely critical. We get there, we get the knockout. There's a Drifblim in the back, and we're both 5 Astonishes away from our charge attacks. We get to the Shadow Ball, we win the charge attack priority tie. Let's absolutely go. Drifblim, very HP weighted, not very attack weighted. Dusknoir, though, that's buckets. That's a 3-pointer right there. That's an awesome, awesome win for our Ghost type Pokemon. Annihilate and Drifblim is a very highly recommended core. Primeape and Drifblim as well. Going to go to this next matchup versus the Giratina Altered. Now, I have gotten hit with a Poltergeist earlier on in the season, and I really don't like getting hit with that for obvious reasons. But this Giratina did not build up to it. They looked for the swap, though, and it's actually great because I throw the Hydro Cannon instead of my instead of my Ice Beam. They come in with the Cobalion, and I send in Dusknoir. This is actually one of the matchups where Dusknoir really thrives because it has to throw the Stone Edge in order to deal any meaningful damage, and you can eat 2 Stone Edges because you are double resisting all of these double kicks. So at this point, Dusknoir can farm down. And this is going to be really nice too, because I'm able to throw all these Astonishes, farm all the way down. I have enough health to not be KO'd by a Dragon Claw, as well as probably get off the Shadow Ball and the Shadow Punch. So this has been really, really good for us. Fire off the Shadow Punch, don't get the shield. Opponent actually deciding to no shield encourages me to throw another charge attack here. I'm going to go with the Shadow Ball. Boom, we pick up the knockout on the Giratina. It's a Feraligatr in the back, trying to get off one more Shadow Punch. This is a little bit tricky because I think they do have a Protect Shield advantage, if I'm not mistaken. However, I'm going to switch in the Cobalion. No, they do not. I have the Protect Shield advantage, so never mind. This isn't tricky at all. Going to send in the Cobalion here, and I think eventually they're going to realize that this game is pretty unwinnable. I'm going to go for the single double kick, try to get the Sacred Sword, but my opponent does throw on great timing there. 1 Shadow Claw into the Hydro Cannon, and at this point, they see the writing on the wall. 3 Pokemon remaining, too high of a hill to climb. My opponent top lefts. Going to this next battle, Haxorus, Pokemon that I did not expect to see, and honestly is a huge problem for my back line. This Pokemon is 4 Dragon Tails to the Breaking Swipe and 4 Dragon Tails to the Night Slash. No variations there. Opponent throws a Breaking Swipe, and I'm starting to think, counter is not good for Cobalion. However, Dragon Tail, question mark, is actually quite good. Now I'm able to bait the Hydro Cannon and get to the Ice Beam. So this will pick up the knockout if it connects, and it does! Massive knockout there. Shield and switch advantage in my court. However, Ampharos comes out. Likely going to be Brutal Swing, Trailblaze, or Brutal Swing, Thunder Punch. That's what I'm expecting here. So for me to send in the Cobalion is definitely a read on that moveset. Trailblaze resisted by my Steel typing. Single double kick into the Sacred Sword is going to deal some good damage here to the Ampharos. It is Purify, but I'm not really worried about something like Focus Blast or Return. Gonna let the second one through as well, saving my shields for the Dusknoir. Again, all of this could be for naught if my opponent does have a dark or normal type in the back. So definitely need to be careful here. Firing off the Sacred Sword, picking up the KO. In comes the Mud Boy. It's a Swampert. Sorry to tell you, Swampert, but you are severely outmatched. Gonna fire the Sacred Sword. Does deal some chip damage, coming in with the Dusknoir. And at this point, I'm almost considering eating the Earthquake just to see. Right, just for science, just to see how much damage it does. Gonna try to throw up on the screen right now how much damage it would have done, but we use the shield on the Hydro Cannon regardless. The Mudshot nerf really hurts Swampert a lot. It's 5 Mudshots to each of these Hydro Cannons, so we're able to very comfortably get to our second Shadow Punch here, which is very nice. Opponent is going to let it through, and that is a big knockout there because they had no more shields in that game. Taking on this next battler, this is who's that? They lead Skeledirge, which is a very nice lead for us to pick up here as a Feraligatr. I am anticipating the catch though, so I am going to hold my energy. I go Dusknoir immediately into the Tapu Fini. Now, this might have been a mistake in hindsight because I could have sent in the Cobalion, which the matchup I think is a little more clean, but I do have to worry about the Nature's Madness. My defense does fall there. I'm gonna go for the Shadow Ball. This might also be a mistake. Skeledirge versus Cobalion, very, very tough. This game, I think, is one of the better ones I've had in this set. It might be the craziest one. So if you're still here, you're in for a treat. Gonna go ahead and shield this up. I want at least the Shadow Punch to take away that final shield and try to clear the runway for my Pokemon. Gonna go for the Shadow Ball here because I want to ensure the knockout. Shadow Punch would have been nice pressure, but it's not enough to KO. Opponent does double shield, which is actually really solid. Gonna come in now with the Cobalion and try to right the wrongs that I made previously on. Now, the Cobalion can absorb a couple of Nature's Madnesses. I really don't want to, but I might have to. And I'm also looking for the swap. Don't want my opponent to, actually I can only absorb one Nature's Madness, excuse me. Gonna go ahead and fire this off. My opponent's likely gonna bring in the Skeledirge here. So, they actually do a peekaboo. They show the Skeledirge, and then they instantly switch into the Tentacruel just in case I had the Stone Edge. So this gets really complicated now because I don't have Crunch on this regular Feraligatr. I do have Crunch on the Shadow variant. However, it's not what I'm using in the video. I'm gonna fire off Hydro Cannon after Hydro Cannon, as many as I can. I need to think about where I'm gonna spend my shields though, because I need the Stone Edge to KO that Skeledirge, but I don't think the Stone Edge is enough. So I'm in a tough spot still. Gonna build a double Hydro Cannon and just hope that my switch timer is up so I can go into Cobalion. It is up. We send in the Cobalion. They combo play. They see it coming though, and they switch in their Skeledirge, which makes this really tough. Sacred Sword connects. It barely does any damage. I'm gonna try to build up to the Stone Edge, but they throw their charge attack instead. I've got a shield here. I've got to hope that I can get to my Stone Edge because that is instrumental to the win condition. 2 double kicks, only 6 turns. That damage from the second Incinerate applied at turn 10. So I land a Stone Edge. In comes a Tentacruel. And you know what? They Poison Jab down. However, Feraligatr has that Hydro Cannon banked for a rainy day. No bubbles needed here. Massive knockout onto the Tentacruel. Opponent top lefts. They can't take the heat, so they leave the kitchen. And that is a GG's trainer. All right, everybody. Wanted a little change of scenery as we round out this video. Only a couple of battles left. I think we've got 5 minutes remaining. Let's check it out. Feraligatr lead into Steelix. I've seen a lot of Thunderfang Steelix, so I do need to be concerned about that. This Steelix is rocking the Thunderfang, so I'm going to fire off the Hydro Cannon and then look for a pivot. The bonus here, right, the benefit of having a non-Dragon Tail Steelix is that I can reach for the Dusknoir if I choose to. However, I'm going to swap into that Cobalion. No matter what charge attack this is, it's either Psychic Fangs or Crunch. At this point, I'm going to do pretty well against him. In comes Goodra. Goodra is going to be a tricky Pokemon to deal with at this point. This team is also fun so far. I mean, Thunderfang Steelix with Goodra is pretty sick. Gonna go for the Sacred Sword here. I'm trying to debate if I should go for Sacred Sword Stone Edge or try to push for maybe even a triple Sacred Sword if my opponent decides not to throw. I'm only 2 double kicks away from the 3rd Sacred Sword. So here comes number 2. Opponent does not shield. My switch timer is up, so I am able to go to the Feraligatr. If this is an Aqua Tail catch, it's massive, and it is. Let's absolutely go. Gonna look for the Shadow Claw down. My opponent does not allow it. Gonna go into their Steelix yet again. Gonna fire off my Hydro Cannon to try to KO this Pokemon, and we absolutely pick up the knockout. Coming in with the Zapdos, though, this is a little bit tricky for me because Zapdos is such a beast, but I'm gonna go ahead and build to the Ice Beam and throw that. A little bit risky because I did get a little low in terms of HP, but we are able to pull it off. Now, I'm dealing with a loaded Zapdos. I've got a weak Cobalion, but I'm going to put it all on the Dusknoir. Now, the Thundershock did get buffed. However, in the Ultra League, it's still not a powerful attack. My opponent's going to throw just a couple more, but I think they've realized they can't really Thundershock down, so they're forced to throw the Drill Peck. It's all on Dusknoir now. I've got 2 shields versus 1. My opponent is going to throw the Charge Attack. I'm going to call the Drill Peck here, hoping it's not Thunderbolt, and it is the Drill Peck. Very nice. I eat 1. It takes about half my HP, but as you can see, the Astonishes are just too much pressure. Opponent bends the knee and top lefts. GG's. Going to the final game versus Got to Pokes. Let's see what they have for us. They're going to lead Crobat. This is a very fun Pokemon in Ultra League Premier a couple years ago. Or maybe, yeah, I think 2 years ago now. Shout out to Ultra League Premier, by the way. I miss you. But that being said, Crobat not too strong in the current Ultra League meta. It just takes too long with the Air Slashes to build up to the Poison Fangs and Shadow Balls. I think it's something like 5-4 or something to the Poison Fangs, and then the Shadow Ball is like 7 Air Slashes, which is insane. That's like 15 turns. That's way too long in Ultra League, especially against Feraligatr. Gonna land the second Hydro Cannon, pick up the KO and the lead. In comes the Obstagoon, and honestly, this is good because I controlled Switch Advantage. Obstagoon Crobat is something I played quite a bit as well, so I'm definitely getting some ULP flashbacks. But Obstagoon is going to throw. The Counter Nerf hurt this Pokemon quite a bit. 6 counters to each Night Slash, which is a little tough, but I'm able to bring in the Cobalion here, which is very nice, dealing a lot of super effective counter damage. And it's so ironic because they're not throwing stab counters. However, my double kicks are. I'm Steel and Fighting. Gonna look for the big double kick down, and we get it. This matchup is looking very good. Opponent, top lefts. And guess what? We got one more bonus game because that was a really quick one. Let's take on another LNDS. Shout out to the GB Lindos down in Brazil. We're gonna see the Clefable here. It's only 4 Fairy Winds to the Swift. So this Pokemon does get to its attacks very, very quickly. 7 to the Moonblast, so I need to watch out for that. That is very, very hard hitting. But in the Ultra League, I think that Feraligatr can tank it. Gonna go up for a second Hydro Cannon here. Opponent knows I'm getting close, so they do throw their attack. This will be the Moonblast, but I am gonna fire off my Hydro Cannon in quick succession as soon as I possibly can. Gonna take that shield and look for another Hydro Cannon. They know that they are closing in on the Swift, but they catch instead. Going into Dragalge. This Pokemon did get Focus Blast recently, but honestly, that's a huge beam. It's basically the new Boom Burst. I mean, it's useless on a Pokemon that knows Dragon Tail. But anyway, I know that it's going to be 7 Dragon Tails to the Outrage, so I am going to shield once in case this is the Outrage. Fingers crossed. And it is. So at this point, I don't want to take an Aqua Tail, so I'm going to go ahead and throw 3 more Astonishes and then the Shadow Punch to pick up the knockout. It's going to be 4 Dragon Tails to the Aqua Tail. And at this point, my opponent comes back in with the Clefable. This is tricky. I really hope that it's Swift, but it's Meteor Mash. But I hang on anyway, which is really sick. I didn't expect Dusknoir to hang on. Not sure if my opponent undercharged there, but who knows. Coming in with the Empoleon, you got to start to see the writing on the wall, though. This team is so much fun, and I know a couple of these opponents didn't play the best. However, I do think this is a great team in the Ultra League. Only 1 legendary Pokemon, but there is that level 50 Dusknoir that you have to worry about. We're going to claim our wins here, and we get a Teddy Ursa to boot. Very excited to head into a little Holiday Cup and Open Master League. Maybe I will finally play some Open Master League. Only time will tell. Rating rank 19 here, a little bit slower this season for me. However, I believe in taking my time, and I believe in having a good time the entire time. That being said, I hope you had a great time watching this video. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.